Hello everyone, this is Robert Landau, Live Life Well TV host, with another episode of True or False. You've probably been watching more than this episode of True or False, and if you haven't, I hope you will continue to see these episodes of this show. Why? Because they're fun. Why? Because they're kinda educational. I don't know most of the facts that I'm sharing with you. So it's good brain exercise. And when you add fun to the mix, wow, you've got a potent power to deal with. So if you haven't seen this show before, all you got to do is sit back, relax, have fun, and see if you think the following trivia is true or false. So here's an example. I am wearing a crazy far out jacket. Yet another one. True or false? See? It's easy. See? It's kind of fun. See? Let's start. Here's the first one, folks. True or false? The teddy bear was named after President Theodore Roosevelt. True or false? The teddy bear was named after President Theodore Roosevelt. What do you think? You probably got that one right. The answer happens to be true, and here is why. Teddy Roosevelt started the teddy bear craze when he refused to shoot a trapped bear during a hunting expedition. Thank God for that. When the word got out of this, newspaper cartoon ensued, and the toy teddy bear soon followed. So, next up for your true or false consideration goes like this. Barbie's real name is Barbara Ann Sanderson. The doll, Barbie's real name is Barbara Ann Sanderson. True or false? The answer happens to be false. It's kind of close though. Barbie's real name was Barbara Millicent Roberts, not Barbara Ann Sanderson, and she was named in a series of books published by Random House in the 1960s. So, how about that? Here's the next true or false question for your consideration. It goes like this. Slinky, the popular wire spring toy, was invented by accident. Was Slinky invented by accident? What do you think, true or false? The answer happens to be true. Mechanical engineer Richard James was working at his desk when he accidentally knocked over some ship springs he happened to have been working on. They kind of walked around the floor, and James was surprised. He was in wonder watching this, and he was hooked. His wife came up with the name Slinky, and the rest is history. Was there ever a Slinky in your house? I think there was in mine. They were fun. I don't know if you can still get them, can you? Next up, some of the rejected names for Disney's 7 dwarfs were Tubby, Burpy, Hickey, Wheezy, and Awful. True or false? Some of the rejected names for Disney's 7 dwarfs were Tubby, Burpy, Hickey, Wheezy, and Awful. True or false? What do you think? The answer happens to be an astounding, absolutely amazing true. Good thing that Walt and some of his artists kind of got it together and settled on the current names, don't you think? I do. Here's the next one for you. The Cobb Salad was named after baseball great Ty Cobb at one of his favorite Detroit eateries. True or false? The answer happens to be false. Thai had absolutely nothing to do with naming the salad. The Cobb Salad was named after Bob Cobb, owner of the Brown Derby restaurant in Hollywood during the 1930s. According to legend, he created the salad in the kitchen late one night when he was starving. I'm so glad he did. Do you like a Cobb salad? I do, although I can't remember the last time I actually had one. Next up, popsicles were invented accidentally by an 11-year-old who left his drink out in the cold overnight. True or false? The answer happens to be true on that one. 11-year-old Frank Epperson from San Francisco left his powdered soda water out on the front porch during a frigid night with his stir stick still in it. Eventually, the next morning, he woke up and enjoyed the world's first popsicle. When was the last time you had a popsicle? Not a true or false answer. Next up, we'll continue with food snacks. And here's this true or false question. Cheese puffs, remember them, cheese puffs, were created by a Costa Rican farmer in 1949 who had no idea how popular these little curls would become. True or false? Actually, that is false. These tasty little treats were created by two American farmers when they added cheese one day to their deep-fried puffs of corn. There you go. There you go. Next up is this. Astronaut Neil Armstrong was involved in the development of frozen TV dinners. True or false? Astronaut Neil Armstrong was involved in the development of frozen TV dinners. The answer is false. False. Did I get you on that one? Here's why. That sounded good, actually, what I just shared with you, but as I said, it ain't true. It actually was a company that invented TV dinners by the name of Maxon Food Systems Incorporated. They manufactured the earliest complete frozen meal as far back as 1945. And at the time, Maxon manufactured something called strato plates, complete meals that were reheated on the plane for military and civilian airline passengers. The meals consisted of a basic three-part equation of meat, vegetable, and potato, each housed in its own separate compartment on a plastic plate. So there you go with that one. Next up is this. There are more Burger King restaurants around the world than there are residents in Wyoming. True or false? Here's the answer to that one. It is false. Why? Because there are about 544,000 people or so in Wyoming and only 13,000 Burger King restaurants around the world. Next up is this. Steven Spielberg's first directing assignment was for a diaper commercial. What do you think? Actually, that happens to be false. Mr. Spielberg's first professional commercial directing job was on a segment of the Rod Serling sci-fi TV show called Night Gallery. Get this, Spielberg was only 19 years old at the time. Think about that, 19 years old and you're directing your first national TV show. That's pretty good. Stands to reason. I think he's a directing genius. My favorite movie, probably one of them of all time, top 3, top 5 of my favorite films, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. It's brilliant. He did such an amazing job directing that. Personal opinion, maybe you share it, maybe you don't. But let's get back to task. Here is the next true or false question, and it goes like this. Leonardo da Vinci invented the helicopter, the parachute, and scuba gear. True or false? And actually, I think many of you know the answer to that one. It's true. The guy was a genius, particularly for his day and age. His notebooks have become public domain, and you can see them on the web. What a fascinating man. Fascinating man. I do an entire lecture on him that maybe I'll put on this channel sometime soon. Amazing guy. True genius, way beyond his time. Next true or false question goes like this. Benjamin Franklin, another genius, wanted the nation's official bird to be the turkey and not the eagle. True or false? That happens to be true. Here's another genius. Thomas Jefferson was the first American to lose a presidential race. True or false? The answer is true. Jefferson at the time ran against, do you know who? John Adams, who was elected the second U.S. president. Previously, George Washington ran unopposed. Next up, we have this. For many years, the man who came in second in the race for president of the United States became the vice president. I'll share that with you again. For many years, the man who came in second in the race for president of the United States became the nation's vice president. True or false? The answer to that happens to be true. Until the 12th Amendment was passed in 1804, whoever received the second most votes served as vice president. Next up, Washington actually fought for the British Army for a time. True or false? Washington actually fought for the British Army for a time. The answer to that is true. When the future president was a young man, he lived in a British colony. Washington served in the French and Indian Wars, fighting for His Majesty the King of England. So we have 2 more true or false questions left. Here's the second to last one. Goes like this. A 17-year-old designed the current United States flag as a part of a class project. A 17-year-old designed the current United States flag as part of a class project. True or false? That answer is true. In 1958, as Alaska and Hawaii were getting ready to join the Republic, a guy by the name of Robert J. Heft, a 17-year-old high school student, designed what was to be our new flag. He basically figured out how to add 2 more stars, without making it look too obvious. He got a B- in the class project, but when his flag design was adopted by Congress, of course, his grade was bumped up to an A. Well, yeah, hello. And May we have a drum roll, please, for the last and final question? I can't hear you. Here we go with the last question. Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor once worked as an assistant at a photography studio that specialized in pet portraits. True or false? Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor once worked as an assistant at a photography studio that specialized in pet portraits. Actually, the answer is false. False. At that point in time, Ms. O'Connor was very busy with her pre-law education to even think about working in a pet portrait studio. So there you go. Did you have fun? I sure did. Did you learn a couple of things? I always do. So with that said and done, folks, don't forget to not only check out other episodes of this program, but all programs on Live Life Well TV. They are well worth your time. You will have fun doing so, and it sure helps occupy downtime. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And this has been Robert Landau, Live Life Well Host TV, wishing you happiness, health, and joy.